All right, so I'm gonna do something a little bit different for this video right here than what is kind of my normal format. I'm also trying to see if I can get a little bit more into doing some different style of videos as far as compared to what I normally do, especially recently. Just because I've been so busy and everything like that, so I'm trying to keep up with it. But I did just come back from watching the Super Mario Galaxy movie, and I gotta say, I really enjoyed this movie. It was something that I thought was really good. I had a great time watching it. Um, and yeah, there was just a lot of things to go over when it came down to this film and everything like that. So I just kind of wanted to give my thoughts, just kind of give a quick rundown and everything like that. I'm kind of doing this off at the top of the dome, so it is one of those things that I'm not necessarily having anything that's like specifically written down or anything. I'm just gonna try to go off of what I can like kind of remember and everything like that. But yeah, I enjoyed this movie, man. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was really good. There were some things that were a little bit I guess you could say kind of strange in regards to it. If you wanted to go into this movie expecting like a sequel that kind of follows up exactly where the last film left off, it kind of does in a sense, but at the same time, this almost feels like it could be considered almost like a standalone film. So if there was anyone out there that wasn't able to catch the first Super Mario movie, I feel like you can probably catch this one and still be able to kind of keep up with everything that's been going on and everything like that. Obviously, there are some stuff that does kind of connect to the first film, especially kind of leading into to who the villain is and everything like that. But if you're just again trying to get into this and you weren't able to actually kind of catch the first film, then I feel like most people would be able to just kind of follow up with no problem. And I feel like that's something that can probably be considered a good thing, but at the same time, for some, it can probably be considered a little bit of a negative thing, just because of the fact that it doesn't really seem to add too much from the last film. But yeah, as far as the characters go, I thought everyone did a really great job. I mean, obviously Mario and Luigi, they're really good into it. Peach was able to do kind of her thing, which was pretty good. Especially considering the way she was in the last film. We got Toad returning, which is awesome. Um, and then yeah, we got the new character Rosalina, and the one thing about her is that she was a good character, but she kind of does kind of take on the role that you would almost expect to have by Peach, which is the damsel in distress. She is the one that gets kidnapped. She is the one that they kind of have to rescue in a sense. So there is that when it comes down to this film. And yeah, there were some characters from the first film that we actually didn't get to see, so, depending on your opinion on some of those characters and everything like that, it might not necessarily be a good thing. It might be a little bit considered a negative. Um, and then we do have some other characters that were able to make some appearances. We got some cameos that went through, which was pretty cool. There was one cameo in particular. I'm not gonna give any spoilers or anything like that, but there's one cameo that was in the film that I thought was really cool, and especially because I'm a fan of this character, these characters and everything like that. So the fact that they were able to make an appearance in this, I thought was really awesome. Um, the music in the film was really great. There was a lot of classic Mario music that they were able to initiate into this film, and I thought it was actually pretty cool because one of the issues I kind of personally had a little bit of with the last film was that they used a lot of kind of like modern day music, even some like old classics and stuff like that. Like I Need a Hero, they used that in the last film, the first one, and then the Take on Me I thought was a little bit strange that they decided to go that route with the Mario movie. You know what I mean? Considering that Mario has such classic music when it comes down to the video games and everything like that. And I remember hearing that being a criticism from other individuals with the last film. So I think that was something that they were kind of able to take into consideration and everything like that and kind of switch up with this film. There was I think one maybe two songs that were kind of used that were kind of a modern day songs, but even one of them, it wasn't even like the actual song itself. It was just kind of like the instrumental of the song itself. So yeah, I like that they were able to include kind of more so Mario's music than kind of going off of like the modern day music, which I thought was really cool. The story itself, was a pretty good one. You know what I mean? I like the direction that they decided to go in and everything like that. Wasn't too complicated of a story or anything like that. If you're gonna take your kids and everything to go see this film, or take some young ones, I feel like it's gonna be one of those things where they're able to follow up with everything that's happening in the film. There's not gonna be any confusion, or it's not gonna be too complicated for them to kind of understand. So I think that kind of really worked in its favor at the end of the day. Um, Obviously, it is Illumination, it is a kids film, so there are some kinda cheesy jokes in there and stuff like that. There are some stuff that they try to, like gags and stuff like that, they try to make funny for children and everything, which is to be expected, when it comes down to a kids movie like the Super Mario Brothers. Um, and yeah, there's some other stuff I kinda wanted to mention. Um the with the way that the film ends, it was one of those things. Well, just the direction that they decided to go in, because stuff is constantly happening. There isn't too many times where like a situation happens and then you're just kind of sitting there and kind of letting it breathe in a sense. Which again, with some of the stuff I mentioned kind of earlier, could be considered a positive or a negative. It could be considered a positive because it's like boom, 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 like it goes from one area to the next, and it keeps the film going in a really good pace, which I thought was good. So, and again, since it is a kids film, you do want to kind of have things constantly happen so that it kind of it catches the kids' attention, it keeps them interested in and wanting to see what's happening next. It doesn't ever seem to really get boring, which was something that I thought was really good. I believe this film is 2 hours long, and for being a 2 hour long film, I feel like it got by like pretty quick. You know what I mean? It didn't feel like it was dragging along or anything like that. There was no moment where I kind of wanted to take my phone out and see what time it was. So I thought that was really cool. Um, as far as the stories ending and everything like that, again, I'm not trying to do any spoilers, so I'm gonna kind of keep it vague. But the way that the film ended, it was one of those things where it kind of almost took you by surprise, where it was like you were expecting a little bit more to kind of happen and everything like that, and then all of a sudden it's just over. So you're like, oh, okay, that's the end. Okay, all right, for sure. And it did kind of make it seem like if they wanted to, they could end it with this film. I mean, I feel like obviously with the success that'll most likely happen with this film, they're gonna want to try to continue on and make a third film. I'm pretty sure that Nintendo has probably had plans for a third film, regardless of what it's gonna be like at the end of the day. But with the way that they had it, like I stated earlier, it does feel like this kind of could have been a standalone film on its own. If you didn't watch the first one, you could watch this one and kind of just understand what's happening, where these characters are, and everything like that. There is like one or two things that if you watch the last film, then obviously it's going to be able to help you keep up. But again, for the most part, if you didn't see the last film, you're going to be able to kind of follow up with everything that's going on here. And again, it did kind of seem like where they left off with this, that could just be it for our characters Mario and Luigi, and um characters. And like I said, mentioned the characters earlier. Well, one of the characters I don't think I mentioned was Yoshi. And one of the things that they did that I really actually appreciated was the fact that they included Yoshi at the very beginning of the film. So it's kind of like one of the first things that happens. Yeah, for anyone that watched the trailer, they find Yoshi in one of the tunnels and everything like that, and then they go and kind of rescue him, which was pretty cool. Um, but yeah, that kind of happens at the very beginning, and then it's just kind of that point. From that point on, Yoshi's like a part of the crew, which I thought was really interesting, and I thought it was pretty cool because I loved the fact that they were going to be bringing Yoshi into this, and they didn't waste any time with it. Yoshi automatically becomes a part of the crew. Yoshi is, there for Mario and Luigi, and he is their pet. And it's funny because he is kind of like their ride or die pet. He's automatically right there, and he has their back and everything, which I thought was awesome. Um, and yeah, one of the characters that had actually been announced recently, just a couple of days ago, was Star Fox. And I gotta say, man, I like what they did with Star Fox. Now, I don't know if it's necessarily just because I have been, playing Resident Evil Requiem since its release and everything like that. That is one of the games I've been able to pick up. I've been kind of stuck on it the past few days, kind of partially why I haven't been doing videos. But one thing I will say was that I was kind of hoping Star Fox, Fox McCloud, would have been able to kind of have more of like a cool guy, because he does have like that cool guy kind of attitude and everything like that, but there are some moments where they do give him kind of like some comedic moments where he is kind of like not necessarily the butt of a joke, but they do kind of give him like a goofiness to his character and everything, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. But like I stated, with me playing Resident Evil Requiem, I kind of was hoping they would have given him more of kind of like a Leon kind of attitude, where he's the cool guy, but he's very like nonchalant, and he's kind of kind of cracks jokes here and there, but he's kind of like still not necessarily serious, but more so where he is just like really cool. So I was kind of hoping they would have went a little bit more in that direction with him. They didn't. Again, there are some areas where they did kind of switch it up and make him kind of like a part of the jokes and everything like that. So not necessarily a bad thing, but yeah, that was just kind of the direction I was kind of hoping they would have been able to go a little bit more. Um, Bowser, I thought was really good in this film. Jack Black, killed it, with the role, doing the voice acting and everything like that. There was some moments where I was kind of questioning where they were going as far as with his story in this and everything like that, especially after the first film. Um, but yeah, I like the direction that they went with. I thought it was cool. I thought it was good, and then obviously we got Bowser Jr., which for anyone that's watched the trailer, you'll know that he makes his appearance in this film, and I liked it, man. I liked the direction that they went with. I liked the way that they kind of incorporated him into this story and the connection that he has with Bowser and everything like that. I thought it was really well done, and it was good. I'm really digging this film. You know what I mean? Like, the more I think about it and everything, obviously, like I stated, I just got back from the theater itself, so there is going to be a little bit of that processing that I'm still going to have to do and kind of go over and kind of keep in mind. And yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to watch this in theaters again, but if the opportunity does arise and everything like that, there is a chance that if someone, if I have a friend or someone that wants to see this film and they were to ask me, hey, do you want to go see this again, chances are I probably would. I enjoyed it, but as far as like right now, I wouldn't have any issues just kind of waiting until maybe it comes out on like streaming or DVD or Blu-ray or whatever. um but yeah, as far as the film itself goes, yeah, I think I gotta say I probably like it more than the first one. Um, some people have made comments about the first film and made statements in the sense that like it felt like they kind of played it safe with Mario, which is understandable considering that the only other Mario film that was ever released was the one back in the 90s, and that was just way different from what the character is and kind of goes through and everything like that. It was just a really weird take on it. So them coming out with a Mario movie and kind of playing it safe and kind of going in that direction to kind of keep it like friendly, but at the same time not do too much crazy stuff with the character and everything, was completely understandable. And I feel like with this film they were able to kind of let loose a little bit more in that regard. Some areas I feel like they did kind of still play it a little bit safe with the characters and all that, but I liked it, man. I like the direction that they're going with this, and I think they can do a really great job if they continue on with this franchise. And it it seems like more than likely they probably are going to be coming out with a sequel. I think I mentioned that earlier. So I'm kind of excited to see the direction that they're going to try to go in when it comes down to this film, because I feel like there is more potential for these characters to become even more of who they are from what we know them as far as the franchise goes and everything like that, and bringing in other characters, which would be really cool. And the fact that we were able to get Star Fox, it just kind of makes me a little bit hopeful that we are going to be able to see some more characters in the future. So let's say whenever they decide to come out with a third installment, because I genuinely do feel like this film is going to do really well, and I feel like they are going to end up greenlighting a third film to be happening. So seeing the direction that they're going to be going with the next film, I'm really excited to see that, and I think it's going to be something that's going to be really good. So overall, I gotta say, let's say out of a 0 to 10 kind of score and everything like that, um, I think I'm gonna give it an 8, maybe like an 8.5. I like this film, man. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. There's a lot of cameos. There's a lot of characters from the video games that you see making appearance, whether they're just kind of walking across the screen or something like that. Again, the music I thought was really good. The story I thought was enjoyable. It was good for being, when you're watching a Mario movie, you're not going to expect some like high end artsy kind of film or anything like that. It's just going to be like a basic story that's understandable for kids and adults alike, to kind of go through. So yeah, I gotta say a 8.5, or somewhere around that kind of range. Maybe an 8.5. But yeah, I enjoyed this film, and if anyone were to ask if I would recommend this, definitely. So if you're a fan of Mario, if you grew up with the franchise like myself, I'd say go ahead and watch it. If you have kids, if you have young ones that would like to go to the movies and kind of see Mario on the big screen, again, I definitely recommend it, and I think it is something that you guys will all be able to enjoy if you get that opportunity. So, yeah, I'm gonna just leave it at that. Like I said, I was kind of thinking it was gonna be brief. It was a little bit longer than I expected, but yeah, I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it, and yeah, I'm really excited to kind of see what Nintendo is gonna go with further as far as them sticking their toes into the movie business and everything like that, and kind of seeing what's gonna be coming next as far as not just Mario, but obviously with the Legend of Zelda film that's gonna be coming out, I believe next year. What else we're gonna be seeing in the future. So yeah, so kudos to Nintendo and kudos to Illumination for being able to come out with a good film. I think they did a great job, and I'm really excited to kind of see what's going to be happening in the future. So those are my thoughts on that. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. If you guys have watched the Super Mario film, what are your guys' thoughts? Do you guys think it was a good film? Do you guys like the direction that they went in? So if you guys can let me know your guys' thoughts in the comments. If you guys could like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you guys have been watching this long, I really appreciate it. It means a lot. And yeah, until next time, Harmonic out. Peace.